Who are you?
Well, I'm David Geller, CEO and founder of iJot.
Yeah, we've known each other for a long time. When I lived in Seattle,
yeah,
we used to hang out.
absolutely. You know, yeah, when you were at Microsoft, we'd go to lunch and met you there.
Yeah. So you're doing a lot of these little mobile apps. We'll get into that in a second. But what's happening up in Seattle? You know, because you used to be on Pioneer Square, right in the middle of the Seattle.
Yeah, used to be Capitol Hill, then Pioneer Square.
Yeah.
And Pioneer Square is kind of a artsy startup community in Seattle, and I think it's having a second life now. It's doing very well. It's hard to get office space there. Very exciting.
Yeah.
I've since moved out of Pioneer Square and now more virtual, but I would say it's doing well.
Yeah, you started a couple companies there, right?
Yeah, I did. I had a company, you know, What Counts.
Yeah.
We were an email provider,
Yeah.
kind of a top middle tier. So we would service customers like MSNBC and Costco and Virgin America, a lot of great brands. And that was really a lot of fun. Ran it for 10 years and exited it at the end of 2010.
And what does that mean? You sold it, or
sold it? Yeah, sold it. And what was
is it still running, or
it's still running, and that's the rewarding part. So it was bought by a private equity firm in Cleveland and another company called Mansell in Atlanta, and they liked our branding, they liked our marketing. They changed the company to What Counts.
Yeah.
They retained almost every employee, and I think they've retained all the customers. So it's satisfying to know that something, you know, I built with my co-founder is still running. It's still servicing customers very well. You know, very proud of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. It's always
Thank you.
fun to start a company.
It's not an Instagram exit, but it's you know.
Well, you know, not everyone is. If it was, this world would be really crazy. It's really crazy to know that two kids can start a company and sell for.
But we sent billions of emails.
Yeah.
So.
And so, yeah. So what's been happening since I left Seattle? You know, because you're living right near Microsoft, and
Yeah, living near Microsoft.
Amazon's down the street.
Certainly a lot of Amazon people live in our neighborhood, and Microsoft people. It's you know, Facebook has got development resources there. Apple. I mean, there's a lot happening. And to my surprise, over the last few years, Seattle's really become very popular with mobile developers.
Yeah.
A lot of mobile products being built there.
Why is that?
I don't know, because it's the weather, you know, forces us indoor, and we're creative. I don't know. I don't know the reason. There, you know, T-Mobile's headquartered there.
Yeah.
Verizon did a lot over the years there,
Yeah.
so that could be it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's a lot of mobile expertise. The company that AT&T bought, what was it, McCraw? Or there was a bunch.
Sure.
There was a bunch of mobile carriers out there.
Yeah, the McCall brothers, absolutely. VoiceStream. So I think Seattle has a rich history in the mobile space, and of course, just having Microsoft there, there's all of these tangential spin-offs.
Seattle's sort of like San Francisco. It's a good walking city, so it's a good place to go outside, and it's a good. There's skiing nearby, and there's
just
boating,
outdoors, you know,
and that I think that whole lifestyle thing has mobile affordance, you know, and so people want to get outside and play with their mobile phones while they're skiing. And try out new concepts. Like, there's been a bunch of mobile. What started up there? Like Shazam started in Seattle.
Shazam had a group there. Yeah. Actually, they were running out of an office space in Redmond called ThinkSpace, run by Peter G. Yeah. And Peter's now doing a mobile innovation hub, which is very exciting. And I think he's I don't know if he's announced it, but he's got one of the major phone manufacturers that's going to be in the hub. They're showing their product. It's very exciting.
Probably Nokia, since it's a Microsoft world.
It's not,
I'm just kidding.
It's not Nokia, but you know, there's another big brand that has their U.S. operations based in Bellevue. I think it's HTC.
Oh.
So, which is surprising.
Interesting.
Well, you know, Seattle is very much a gateway to Asia.
Yeah,
you know, just like San Francisco and Los Angeles.
That's true. Well, cool. I always looked at Seattle like as a suburb of San Francisco anyways, because it's 2 hours away on the airline. Like, you flew up this morning, right?
I flew up this morning. It was very pleasant. And by the way...
I did that every 2 weeks.
Have you flown United recently?
I fly United almost exclusively, which some of their lines are getting better. You know,
I was going to say, I've been on I was in New York last week, and all my United flights have been dramatically better. Yeah. I don't know, the people seem happier. I was on some new equipment.
You know why? Virgin kicked their ass. That's
why. Okay. They're getting,
You know, the New York, and this is something to know about. There's a startup in New York that's helping rate not airlines, but the actual flights, the routes,
the runs,
because the New York to San Francisco route is it has Wi-Fi and has new planes,
right?
Because they were losing business to Virgin, which was on that route, and that's a very lucrative route. And on and on. And some of their other routes, you don't have. Most of their planes don't have Wi-Fi and still are old and stuff like that. But
we were traveling with a 9-year-old, so the fact that I think it was an ex-Continental, it was a relatively new 737 rear seat entertainment. It was great.
Yeah. So. You got to get her an iPad, and then that'll cut.
She uses our iPad, yeah. But you can't use Netflix on an airplane, so.
You can actually if you're on one of these Wi-Fi planes. They're pretty good.
I tried.
Have you?
I thought they started limiting that.
Oh, did they?
Because it only takes a few people to start sucking up the available bandwidth.
They might.
Yeah.
It used to work. Anyways.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
Well, in 2007. My then co-founder Darren Nakuda, who then went on to form Teach Street and now at Amazon, we started a company called iJob. And you and I have talked about it in the past, and I always kind of have this itch where I'm doing a couple things at once. So What Counts was already a very stable, mature company, relatively small but doing well, and I started iJob, which is a video mail platform.
And why do we need that? When we have the ability to take a take a video with our iPhone or Android phone.
Well, back then, just even a few years ago, I think we were all becoming. The manufacturers and people like Apple and Skype were trying to convince us that video conferencing, live video, is an important, effective communication tool, and it is. But I think just as well as anyone else, it's not always easy to communicate live with someone else. They're not there. They're in another time zone, etc. So we wanted to create an asynchronous model, and my background was email, so we thought, well, let's record and send. And we weren't the first to do it, but what we did do was make it incredibly easy. Entirely web-based, no software to install, and it was really exciting. People liked the platform. Since we came out, there's been very good competitors. TalkBox created a very capable platform, although their direction has since shifted. And that's the space we were in until recently, where now we're really shifting toward a mobile view of asynchronous video mail.
Yeah, and there's some good video platforms. I don't have my iPhone in front of me.
Yeah.
But there's lots of video apps.
Correct.
Almost like Instagram for video.
Tango is one that's out there.
Tango, and I'm thinking of some others. Anyways, my brain is dead. It's Friday.
Yeah.
So what?
Why us, or?
Well, who would use this first of all? Is it a consumer play for everybody, or is it just aimed at businesses?
Well, that's your question's leading and very good, because in 2007, and as we were building the company, we first thought, well, this is great for consumers, right? Parents communicating with family members, kids away at college, military families. The problem with any small company is trying to market towards such a wide audience. Is challenging. So then we went back a little bit, and again, because my previous company was so enterprise oriented, we said, well, what's the business version of this? Well, the business version is you let people brand the interface. So when a video arrives, it carries their name, right? So if you were to send an iJot, it could very well carry the Rackspace logo.
Got it.
Or the Scobalizer logo. And people were paying, people still do today, $100 a seat per year. So it became
just to do the branding thing.
Yeah, a very viable business just in that space.
So Safeway could do a video email to all of its customers.
Absolutely.
And it's scalable like that? It could go to 1 million customers?
It could, although, to be honest, we were always building the platform for one-to-one or one-to-few. We didn't want to be a video ESP.
Got it.
So it really was for more directed communications. Maybe that limited our growth, but that was the focus.
Yeah.
Interesting, now that we're shifting toward mobile, we're almost going back to the idea that it's now more of a consumer play.
Yeah.
Businesses are still going to use it. In fact, we have a lot of people in the marketing, sales professions, health professionals. They'll use it just to communicate with their audience.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of consumers. If you go on the Apple iTunes App Store, it's there.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of apps, range of apps like Glimpse that lets you only capture 5 seconds of video, or what's the one that I'm thinking of? Hold on a second, let me get my iPhone so I can remember what apps I have, because I have too many apps. It's Friday.
Well, a lot of people say, well, why can't I just film it with the iPhone and send it? Yeah. But you're limited typically to 53 seconds or so.
Social Cam and
Yeah.
All those kinds of things.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So what we made it easy to do. Also for business users, we let them attach documents.
Yeah.
So that was a powerful tool. You know, when customers now sign up for our Pro Plus version and pay the $100, after a few days, I'll send them personal iJot messages, and the response is just overwhelmingly positive. That now I'm having a dialogue with my customers, not through email, but you know, I'm being able
more
to
more personal.
Absolutely.
This gets delivered through email, or does it get delivered to somebody else who has the iJot app?
As much as we all complain about email and want to find another solution, there aren't that many other solutions. Yeah. Obviously, we have platforms like Facebook now growing, and people using Facebook messaging. We use text messaging, but email really is the lowest common denominator for reliable asynchronous communication. So that's kind of geeky, but yes, we deliver through email. We are now starting to deliver messaging through SMS as well.
Yeah.
And in fact, so, you know, in our app...
Which is really good for one-on-one. You know, most people like using that for one-on-one. You watch a teenager, they're totally SMS because they're all about talking to their girlfriend or whatever, and it's all about back and forth.
Yeah. They're comfortable with it. It's fast. So what
There's a bunch of apps on the SMS, like Voxer, the walkie-talkie world.
Correct.
That are teaching people that SMS can be more of a group thing, GroupMe, Groupon, Grouped In. There was a whole bunch of them last year that came out that were group text things, but not really video so much.
Well, when I went with Dave McClure's group, the Geeks on a Plane to Asia, we were using one of those when we were in Asia just to communicate among the group, and it was very effective. It's almost like a mobile Yammer, if you will. We weren't doing video, but we were doing stills and just keeping... You know, everyone come down to the lobby, the bus is leaving kind of stuff. It was very effective. So what we did, so now we're really focusing on mobile. We're excited about the space. And what we've also done, we've introduced video business cards. So think about it. One of the functions we all do as business professionals is we do exchange business cards at conferences, at meetings, whatnot. And we wanted to apply the work we had done in our email platform, the foundation of creating and storing and efficiently delivering video, to turn it into a business card format.
Yeah.
So we created something called an iJot V card, and you know what it is. Can I show you there? It's you know, here is a V card. It's on my iPhone, and you know, if I double tap here to play, I'm actually using the same vest. V card application, a great way to send basically contact information without using a traditional business card. It's a way to differentiate. So here's a piece of video I've got. Now, you'd think...
Now that card, can it be printed out and handed to somebody physically? And does it hook up to the video? Or is it an electronic card that I... Like, if I met you at some conference, like I'm going to the Next Web conference next week, and a lot of people are like, do you have a business card? I usually don't, actually. Because it's like, if you can't find me on the internet, you're not trying very hard.
But you still might... You know, business cards also... You know, extend kind of a personal identity.
Yeah.
And they're creative. They're, you know, in some ways very exciting ways to share important contact information with people.
Right.
You're right. You're an edge case.
But people still ask for. They still like having a physical card. Right. Partly because it's a collector item. You know, I have my Steve Wozniak card, right?
That you can cut steak with.
Yeah, it's really, you know, I don't have it available here, but I have 10,000 business cards that I've collected, right? And it's fun to look through those books and remember back, in 2001 I met all these people, you know, and it's sort of just fun, and it's a collector item.
I think you're right, and I've got Steve's card as well. It's really cool. It's like the founder's card too, you know, these laser etched metal cards. But the reality is, in exchange of business information, cards aren't very efficient.
Yeah.
And people will come back from a conference and have a whole stack of them.
Yep.
And not only will they not reference them, but they're not in their computers.
Yep.
They're not easily digested electronically. Yep. And then they'll lose context. They'll look at a card, they'll see a name. Okay,
by the way, I send all my business cards to a guy, Alan Stern. He runs a company called Cloud Contacts, and he scans all my cards and builds a database that goes into Gmail or Google Contacts. So that's why I have 12,000 contacts. You know, but it's still the same problem, just because you have them in your contact list.
Sure.
Although it's nice when somebody I met, you know, last year at South by Southwest calls me on my phone, and I know who it is.
Yeah, maybe the picture shows up. So what we wanted to do was not only be able to give you this information electronically, but kind of enhance it with something that really could only be done either through a face-to-face conversation or what is perhaps the next best is a short video.
So if I meet you at the next web conference, what do you hand me?
Well, that's a good question. So you're going to probably hand me your traditional business card, and then I will whip out iJot V-Card, and it kind of looks like a business card here. It's even aware of a location here.
So you know where when I get home, I know where I am.
Correct. Exactly. Okay. And so when we give you this information to import directly into your address book or Outlook, it'll even say, I met David this time and date, this place. So that's pretty cool. But so now let's take you through what it takes to send the video to you.
Yeah.
So right now I could enter your email address.
Yep.
Or can I put in your phone number here?
Yeah, it's a public number 425
205
1921. Yep.
So I'll hit send, and this is on the cellular network here in Half Moon Bay.
Yep.
So it's already been sent.
Yep.
So here we were able to send probably a minute video in 2.5 seconds.
Right.
The reason we're able to do that is we're storing the video in the cloud.
And on my phone it says new iJot card just came in from David Giller.
You'll have my phone number. You'll be able to go now in this example. What you're going to go to is a landing page that will have the video.
Yep.
And
I can watch that. We already watched it, so we don't need to waste our time on that. And then how do I import it into my Google Contacts or anything like that?
This is an interesting problem. The iPhone doesn't let you import a VCF from a web page or a link.
Okay.
If I sent you this through email, we were talking about the two ways of sending it, then you could import it directly into your address book.
Got it.
We're going to solve that problem by, when you try and import, we'll know that you're on an iPhone, and this is coming next week. It'll pop up and say, on an iPhone, you have to have it mailed to you if you want to import it. Enter in your email address and we'll do it. But the SMS is solving an important problem.
Got it.
I'm in an event, I'm in a restaurant, I'm somewhere where it's just easier to type in a 10-digit number than it is an email address.
Now on this card there's a scan, a QR code kind of thing.
Correct.
What is that for?
In fact, it's fairly dense, but that's my entire contact information.
Okay.
My URLs, my social networks, everything. If you were to scan that, that could go right into your contact list.
Got it. Is there any way to click on it and say, scan this? Because, I don't have another iPhone to take a camera picture
That's
of this.
true. But the scenario is a lot of people will be getting this in their traditional inbox.
Yeah.
Mobile to mobile is the interesting case. That's where we're going to use the SMS. And that's where we'll have this helper application prepare the file for import.
Got it.
We're also going to support things like Bump, which we all tried when it first came out.
Yeah.
But there's still some people that want it, so our users have been asking for that.
Yeah.
And then we can also do kind of near-field communication. We can set up ad hoc networks at a conference and share. Our problem is kind of a first starter situation. You might be the only one in the room right now with an iJot V-Card application.
Yeah.
So over time that will...
It's interesting because I'm using this app called Highlight, which shows me other people on Highlight who are within 100 yards of me. And it's sort of like a business card.
Right.
It's not quite, because I'm like at South by Southwest, I collected 600 people on Highlight, who were within 100 yards of me and who were also using Highlight. So I have a lot of their information, but I don't really have their phone number or their email address, which might be important. And I can't really mark them as I need to get back to this guy. He's a potential customer. There's a whole bunch of tricks you can do on a business card.
Sure.
You can either write on the back of it, or like my boss folds a certain corner to tell him when he gets home, after the party.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy needs help with rack space, or this guy just wanted to drink beer with me. This guy wants some business information or something.
Well, let me tell you about 3 things that I think are interesting. In terms of marking cards, right now our interface only says cards and activity. Yeah. So activity will tell me I sent an iJot V card to Robert, I sent it to this person. I can go back and review when I sent it. But there's going to be another tab here called Classic.
Yeah.
That if you hand me your traditional business card, I will be able to take a picture and store it in this application. And I will be able to add tags to it and notes and basically be able to do something with it. And then through a third party, we will also be able to digitize that information.
Got it.
kind of like what CardMunch does, that you know, with the LinkedIn acquisition. So we'll do
cool.
something. That won't be the main
aspect.
This
is all, what, $1 for this app? Or
yes, we're still... This one's not in the store yet, so you're seeing this before anyone else. We're exploring the pricing level. Whether it starts at free or 99 cents, we may then layer on services through in-app purchases. Yeah. So that was the first thing, the fact that you could scan in traditional business cards.
Expensify does that, right? The app is free. And
correct.
If you get 10 receipts for free or something like that, and then you start paying for each scan that you process through the system. So.
Now the other thing that we're doing, which you talk about using Highlight to meet people, is here's the iJot V card. What if you had this on a lanyard and you're at an event? So we created lanyard mode or badge mode.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So now this actually becomes my name badge.
Yeah.
I could personalize it. Obviously I can change my profile picture, my company name, things like that. We'll even have it be able to rotate through with different things, likes, dislikes, what have you. It really depends upon the event. Yeah. So we are targeting kind of a Highlight behavior for events and businesses.
Does this hook up to Facebook then and pull all the identity?
You can log into Facebook with this app today. So you don't even need an iJot account. You can just log in with your Facebook credentials. The amount of information we're pulling right now is just email address. Yeah. Over time we'll incorporate the likes and dislikes. Because what we will then do, and this was the other piece, the third piece, is to kind of give you a business radar. Because we know where you are, and if we know other people in the room that are also using the application, now we can start tying you together.
That is cool.
So we'll let people find, almost like a birds of a feather feature.
Yeah.
So we know your location, we even know your altitude. So we're going to have the notion of an event and a check-in, but it's business oriented.
Yeah. So we're going to need even more Mophie packs though, because if we're going to keep our screens on as we walk around.
Interestingly, if you're not using the internet, if you're not doing a lot of data transfer right now, I was at an event the other night where I had this around my neck for a couple of hours, and it was fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Carry a Mophie pack. Carry.
I already have 3 of them. People are really complaining about battery. These Highlight apps and these PlaceMe apps that they use a lot of battery. They use 20% of your battery. Right? So if you used to get to midnight with your normal usage, now you only get to 7, 8 p.m. And that bugs you. Yeah.
Well, different apps can set the resolution and the frequency at which they want iOS to tell them that their location has changed.
Yeah.
And that eats up the thing. So we're really excited about this, and we think it's only the beginning. We're going to make it easy for people to tie in other applications. Imagine that you're an event. Every event has like a bar, whether it's free or not. You could be walking up to the bar, and the bartender could know you're coming. Yeah. And even know what your favorite drink is. Yeah.
Highlight already does that. At the Rackspace party the other night, my best friend was showed up on my iPhone, and I knew he was within 100 yards, and I met him at the front door. In fact, I was at the front door before he even was walking up. I was like, "Where is he?" And it took him a couple minutes to walk to the front door. So it's pretty accurate.
But if you're in an event, sometimes you hand out food or drink coupons. Yeah. So these are things that facilitate an effective meeting, if you can share that, and if we can help organize that. So we're excited about that app. It's very easy. Oh, the other thing to tell you about this is it'll be multiple business cards.
Okay.
Multiple. Right now you're just seeing one, but you could have one for Rackspace. You could have one for when you meet entrepreneurs and just want to introduce one
for dating, one for
some people have called this kind of like the business speed dating type functionality. But you'll be able to create many different cards. And the other leg of this stool is you'll also be able to use Dropbox to add attachments. So I'm going to send you my video.
Okay.
You'll have all my contact information, and then maybe I'll even have a brochure that's linked to it.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
Yeah.
Easy to use.
And we get this at iJot?
You'll be able to certainly learn about it, but it'll be in the App Store. And then
search for iJot?
Yes, and you'll see our other app in this, and then we're going to also do an Android version as well, and possibly for other platforms.
Very cool.
There's some folks in Redmond.
So how are you funded? Tell me a little bit about the business that you're starting.
Poorly.
So you're funding it yourself, basically?
Yeah, we're self-funded. The business is profitable just on the revenue of our kind of small business customers that pay the Pro Plus revenue.
Keep the 6% you would have given to Paul Graham.
Well, I suspect our growth is a little more organic than we'd like. So we're gonna look at ways to accelerate our growth. We're really excited about this. You and I have also talked about some other technology that we're building that we'd like to talk to you about in the future.
Yep.
We think
cool stuff coming.
The foundation is strong.
Mobile is really interesting. Since everybody has mobile phones, it's you know, there's something to the business cards. That's why we all tried Bump.
Right.
I still have Bump on my phone, and I use it once in a while. But most people just don't even remember to say, "Do you have Bump?" You know, the problem is you don't even know that they have Bump. That's why I like the highlight thing, because only 5% of the people at a conference have highlight so far, or even less at most conferences. But when it is there, it's magic. You know, it causes this magical
Well, this is somewhat magical too, because no one else needs to have this application for it to be effective. Just the user can send it to anybody with text or email.
Yeah.
Now, I was in Asia recently, China and Hong Kong and Japan. I was using this a lot, and what's interesting there, of course, it's a cultural rite of passage to share a business card with someone. But people were receptive to receiving this and really excited by it, especially because I could convey so much useful information.
By the way, the video on your business card, that's on the server, right? So when I send a business card, it doesn't use a lot of bytes. Because if you're roaming in Europe, you don't want to send up a video, right?
Excellent point. And the fact that I was able to send it in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
We're also going to offer an airplane mode, because very often you are talking to people on an airplane, want to share your business card. You may not have an internet connection. We'll queue that up. When you land, it'll kick them right off.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's stuff that...
And then, we're also trying to be appealing. The user interface is kind of a skeuomorphic design here with our leather, and we do let our users ask to have some flexibility there, so we let you change up the interface with 5 different skins.
Yeah.
That's the beige. We have coffee, gator, snake, and there's one more.
Very cool. Fashion.
There you go.
And are you going to sell this? Are you going to brand it for Rax? Could you white label this?
Absolutely.
So Rackspace would have its own.
Absolutely. So
Rackspace app.
We think an ideal partner might be someone that's been in the business card or printing business for years and really wants to make a smooth migration to high tech.
Got it.
Wouldn't it be appealing then to have a version sponsored by them?
Is there an advantage to having a paper card along with this? Could I put that QR code on my business card?
You could. You certainly could. I don't carry paper cards anymore because I run out of them. Invariably, I'll forget to even bring them, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
But you could have both. CardFlick is a new application. It was very popular at South by Southwest. Beautifully done. And I think their model is just have stylish digital representations of business cards. I like what they're doing. I think we're going to look for a medium there. We certainly want to add style, but our main focus is video.
Very cool. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for letting me share.